Welcome back. Now, the Parliament Standing Committee on Public Accounts has launched a full-scale inquiry into alleged procurement irregularities and governance failures at the Road Accident Fund. This follows the tabling of an incriminating memorandum during a Scopa meeting recently detailing serious claims of mismanagement and misconduct. Chairman of the Association of Protection of Road Accident Victims, Pieter de Bruyn, joins us now for insight into what this means for victims, medical professionals and legal teams across the country. Thank you so much for your time, Pieter. Let's actually just start off with the mechanics. I know that the inquiry is set for about September after the August recess, but the investigations have started. Just talk to us about the mechanics heading to that inquiry at this point.
I think, first of all, it's important to understand this is not a punitive process, but an investigative process.
Okay.
So the Scopa committee already has a long list of people and persons and organizations they'd like to involve and invite to come and present information and ask questions. And civil society and anyone feeling they have something to add, for example, ex-employees that feel they have information pertaining to wrongdoing, can write a letter to the Scopa chairperson, and on that basis they would be invited. So it is the portfolio committee themselves that would be dealing with the investigation, and hence it's not a typical investigation that will cost millions of rands. They are going to use their time as members of the Scopa committee and just get the information and then have parliamentary staff to analyze it. So anyone can tell and ask them they would want to come and testify.
In this fact-finding mission, Pieter, is this the last resort? And I mean, just what has come to the attention of Scopa to the point where they had to actually get to this option that they've opened up?
One has to actually go back many years. There's been an ongoing failure of governance for the past 7-8 years, which included a myriad of issues, from frivolous court cases, from taking state agencies to court, which is absolutely unheard of in a government, but most of all, totally disadvantaging the claimants and delaying them by 5, 6, 7 years, which ultimately led to investigations by the Auditor General in terms of the auditing standards that they are in non-compliance with, as well as the Special Investigation Unit investigation all sorts of dubious tenders and allegations, which led Scopa to request information from the RAF board, as well as the suspended and soon ex-CEO, Mr. Collins Letsoala, as well as executives. And this is where the big problem started in the final instance, is that they made misrepresentations, they told half-truths, and they basically refused to provide Parliament with information. And this is then the basic last straw that broke the camel's back and led to the formalization of the investigation. But that is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting that you say that it's really just been a problem getting all this information out, but also in the same kind of coin, you're then saying that the inquiry is not supposed to be punitive. And I wonder then, how will things go in terms of actually getting the truth out of people if the process is not punitive?
Well, I mean, first of all, after a request to testify or provide information and a person would not comply, the Scopa committee do have subpoena powers.
Okay.
And also keep in mind, everything you testify is under oath. And you would commit a crime if you lie under oath. And then lastly, matters relating to the Auditor General will be referred to them. Matters relating to the special investigations being done by the Special Investigations Unit would be referred to them. And then, should there be be an uncovering of criminal activities, that surely would be referred to the relevant authorities to take it further. So it's not to say there will not be consequences. This is a serious process, and there will be legal consequences if you keep on lying and if you are not forthcoming with what Parliament requests from you.
Yeah, all right, all right. And does that also include, in terms of the people that can be held accountable in terms of recourse outside of the inquiry, does this also include the guardrails that failed to keep RAF in check, where it's not just the people that worked at RAF that will be put into question?
Yes, exactly. And that's why absolutely every single board member of the current RAF board is on the list to come and testify and account. In this case, not so much for what they did, but what they didn't do. And they basically negated their oversight powers to the suspended CEO to even sign documents on their behalf. They've held meetings without minutes. And this is a 40 billion rand state organ that has no minutes for critical meetings. But that's also why the minister, as well as the deputy minister, will be asked to come and explain and testify how this went. But this is not just going to focus on what happened now. This is going to look at what happened in the past 5 years, but definitely would also very much focus on the failures of governance and the controls here.
Peter, and where do things currently stand in terms of the running of the Road Accident Fund and its leadership right now?
Well, I mean, there is an acting CEO. There is still an executive, whilst there are many vacant positions. And there's still the full complement of a few thousand people at the RAF. So technically, things should be business as usual, but it is absolutely not. And there's a lot of allegations that the suspended CEO is still doing things from his home and interfering with people. And there's been a culture the last 3-4 years that people are absolutely scared out of their minds to do the right thing. So this is a little bit like a rabbit in the shooting light, that I think there's probably a big disruption now, although there technically should not be.
Of course, we will be keeping a very close eye on these developments. Thank you so much for your insights today, Pieter. That was Pieter de Bruyn, Chairman of the Association of Protection of Road Accident Victims.